bro, you need to trust your own mindset. You need to trust that you're going to make it. And you need to trust that you are putting the right amount of work in or a lot of work in. Because a lot of people say, I'm working so hard. And it's like, really, bro, are you? Yeah, you got to take a look at your schedule. You got to be honest with yourself. And you got to say, am I really putting in all of the effort in all these areas the right way?
This is Inside the RV. Inside the RV. You're joined by your hosts, artist manager Jacob Moore and music artist Ryan Ramirez.
Boom, Inside the RV, episode 58. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Once again, as usual, we got another great guest. Thank you all for joining us. Today, we have a creative, a videographer, and entrepreneur who has built something so amazing. I'm so excited to talk about it. And we've done projects together with Ryan and him. And he went from being a plumber to now a full-time videographer. And I love this guy's work ethic, great personality, hangs out with great people. And overall, it's just, he's a good guy to hang around. And I feel like I can take a lot from you and learn a lot. Even the few times that we've done projects together, you always have something great to say. I love the conversation. So now we get to do it for about the next hour. So everyone, please welcome Isaac Flores.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it, man.
How you doing, bro?
Honestly, that was a perfect intro.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you're getting hella good at that.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah. That's so
it's
funny.
It's rolling off the tongue.
Yeah. I had it written down here. I'm like, yeah. We just, yeah. Yeah, man. So where are you from originally?
Anaheim. Yeah, so I grew up in Anaheim. I moved around a little bit, but always in Anaheim. Yeah. Always within probably 5-10 miles of each other.
Dope. Yeah. Okay, so what's so crazy too, I feel like with Orange County, and stuff like that, we've probably crossed paths at some point.
Probably.
I've probably seen you somewhere or something, you know? So when did you first get into shooting videos?
About a year ago, actually. So I shot... Well, actually, my homie Garrett, you know Garrett. I think you might have met Garrett too, right? Yeah. So he actually gave me a film camera.
Okay.
And so I was shooting pictures and stuff like that. And honestly, I loved that I started that way because with the film camera, you had to use light to balance out the camera. And I always shot in full manual because that's what Garrett told me to do.
Yeah.
And so that taught me how to basically use the camera settings properly and whatnot. And then from there, I kind of got hooked. Film was way too expensive. It just, at the time, I didn't have the money to do it. And so I was like, I'm going to get a digital camera and then kind of progress from there. Before then, I've always had my iPhone. I've always had, other pocket cameras kind of stuff. Yeah. But I never did any productions or anything to put together, but it was just, that's where it stemmed from.
So when you had that film camera and then you decided I'm going to buy a digital camera and take the next step, were you passionate, fired up about film and video and stuff like that? Or were you just kind of like, this is interesting. Let me buy some.
Honestly, not really. I kind of, I had an eye for video, I feel like, because when Garrett, he films, concert style events and venues and whatnot. And so he would have these clips to kind of make an edit, and I'm kind of like, oh, maybe you should do this, and try and give him feedback and stuff. And then we just started bouncing ideas off each other. The only reason I didn't do anything was because I didn't have a camera, And so one time my homie let me borrow his camera, my homie filmed the event. He sent me over the footage and I edited it.
Oh, okay.
And then at that point I was like, damn, this is actually really freaking fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just started putting stuff together. I made so many clips, and that's basically what started it off.
And this is, this is a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, the first time when I'm talking about me editing that guy's footage was a little bit over a year ago.
Yeah.
But that was my first taste into editing something official.
Okay.
And it just flew. It just was so fluid.
I was going to say, it's a very short timeline.
Yeah. But even after that, it was 5 months in between that and my first time shooting with Garrett.
Well, let's take it back, though, because I know before that you were putting on shows and that kind of stuff. So you've always been in the entertainment space. So kind of bring us back from from zero. Where did you start?
So at least with the shows, straight out of high school, I was a DJ, and I started just DJing a bunch of events, house parties, and just basically at concerts. I was trying to sell tickets and stuff. Then me and Garrett met, and then we started to actually host our own events. He had an event hosting background, and so we partnered up on something that I already had going for 2 weeks. It was something that just started.
Yeah.
And then so at that point we called it basically 50-50 and started doing events. At that point, we started hiring DJs and stuff. Nice. And booking the venues and basically from the ground up building events. Turned into an event production company where we started buying sound systems, lighting systems, lasers, all that other stuff. And so that's where I gained my business background because I did that for 4 years. And 4 years healthily. and then struggling on one of them just because it was around the time like COVID started happening and whatnot. So that set us back a lot. But even at that point, we had just about 5 years of business under our belt.
Yeah.
And a bunch of experiences from that. From there, I think I started gripping on what I wanted to see in videos, because as an event production company, you're trying to get the coolest videos of your event, right? And so we had to handpick these videographers for specific reasons.
Yeah.
And, you know, we had a bunch of people trying to film at our shows and saying like, hey, like, this is an edit I made for you guys or whatever. And I would kind of pick why don't I like that video? Why do I like that video? What stood out about that? And then I would ask videographers like how they did this, because I'm just that type of person. If you tell me, hey, I do this, I'm like, hey, like, okay, well, how do you do that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I just love like asking questions. You know,
Bro,
I'm such a
one thing about you that I really love, and I've always loved since day one. And for those of you guys who don't know, he's done a few videos of mine as an artist, and I loved how they came out. But one thing about you that I really love, bro, is like you just have this fire in you that I just feel. Like I know, like, and you just care. You know what I'm saying? Like you really care about the end product. You care about the process. You care about the client. You care overall. Like, and you could feel that from you, like off top. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So where does that fire come from for you? Like, where do you feel
my
like?
Pops, 100%. Because he used to tell me all these things when I was growing up. And it's basically just don't sign up for things that you can't do. You know, if I ask you a question, I want you to answer honestly. If you don't say you can do something if you can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, and so that was always something that was really made me nervous to an extent, in a good way, because I was like, I don't want to say I can't do it. You know what I mean? I don't want to say that. So it's kind of like when you do something, you follow through with it. You know, and if you say you're going to do it, you better fucking do it. You know what I mean? And it just stems from being such a small kid. And he's like, well, you said you were going to clean your room. And this is a hypothetical. I'm not saying he ever really said this. You know what I mean? But if he said, you said you're going to clean the room today and you didn't clean your room, you know, it's like, well, that's the principle. It starts there. It starts like, hey, I said I'm going to do it. I got to do it, you know?
So, but I think what makes you special is that you actually execute on the things you say you're going to do. And I think a lot of people, especially in entertainment, they're big talkers, you know, like, I'm going to do this. Like, check this out. Like, by next year, I'm going to be here. And they didn't do shit that whole time. So I think something that it comes out of you that's very special is that you actually follow through on what you do. So do you think that's natural for you, do you discipline yourself a lot, or is it a little bit of both, or how does that work for you?
I think it kind of pulls into, you know, what I was saying earlier about my pops, is that I never over deliver. Or I never under deliver. I try and tell them, look, I can't do this because of my limitations, and this is why. You know, like, I can't do it because my programs won't allow me to run this type of software. Some guy asked for VR effects and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, honestly, I don't know how to do that. I can hire somebody, but that's going to change the budget in this way. And I think that that's super important, because a lot of people wouldn't do that. A lot of people say, yeah, I could do it. When it's like, really, do you have the capacity to do it? Do you know just the bare minimum? You have to be honest with your clients and honest with your people. You know, like, I think there was one shoot we were on where, like, do you think we could do this? And I went heavily into the lighting. Or it was a mountain one, remember? And I was like, we have to hit it within a specific time frame because of this and whatever. I feel like that's something anybody would go through as a videographer. But I think even when it first came up, that was something that was so important to me, because I knew it was an issue in the past 6 shoots. You know what I mean? And so I knew I had to bring that up. I knew we had to talk about that. You know, and I feel like a lot of people just want to say, yeah, I can do it, so that they get the work. You know, and just stick with me. And it's like, bro, it's not about getting the work. It's about making sure that you can over deliver on your work, because you're set so well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess.
What's your favorite type of content to make? Because I know you do like music videos, commercials, car stuff, like everything. I'm sure you love it all. But like, what's like your favorite thing you love to do?
My favorite thing to shoot? Cars, 100%.
Okay.
The reason why cars are my favorite to shoot is because, honestly, of how I started. You know, growing up in high school, I didn't have very many friends. I knew a lot of people, but I didn't have any of those friends. I go over to like their house after school or whatever. Going through that, through college, I was kind of also doing like the little college that I did like on my own for the most part. And again, I did have friends, you know, but it was just like a weird phase, you know what I mean? Then straight out of that, we had Innovative start. When I started Innovative, we had so many people. We had like 60 DJs working for us plus at that point.
Innovative's the production company you're
That's
speaking
the company
about,
that me and Garrett started. Yeah. And then from there, it was we had so many people around us at all times. We had like a bunch of people that would actually come over to our house or to Garrett's house like 5-6 days a week, you know? So it was always popping. And then COVID happened, and then I feel like we kind of lost everything.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Damn, Trulies. But then, yeah, COVID had started, and then we had to like basically put a pause in everything. And I think that one thing that got me back into feeling like I was on the right track again was that one of my homies, Alan, from high school, we never really talked. We knew of each other. We like hung out, and then he hit me up and was like, "Hey, like I saw you're doing a little bit of video stuff. Come shoot my car." Started shooting his car, and remember, after being stripped of all this stuff, one, growing up with like not having too many close friends, and then you know, having all like the circle kind of like just drift away with the music stuff and whatnot. Like my friend group grew in such a healthy way because of the car community. Like they welcomed me with open arms. I was some new kid, and they were like, "Bro, like this is sick, and maybe you can do this." Fueled it, you know what I mean? And they were just so supportive, and it was just like a lot more fun, you know, because I was going to a bunch of different cities and doing a bunch of different things with people I've never met before. And the cool thing is that people that love their cars, they have a job to support their car. Yeah. So they, you know, you get to ask them like, I love business. So I get to ask them, what do you do for work? What do you do? And then get to learn from these people. You're constantly, every single person you meet has a different way to talk about the way that they make money, whether it's a lot or whether it's a little, you know what I mean? So you can learn a lot from these people. Yeah. Not only that, but not everybody lives in the same city. So it's a lot of traveling involved. There's a lot of different people. You get to learn business backgrounds, you know, all that other stuff. And it's not nonstop connection and networking.
It's just crazy, you know? Like the ways you can meet people. Like, for example, like how I met you, right? The way I met Garrett was we were doing a school tour, and he was like the janitor, like picking up trash, like after I performed, and like we talked for a second, and then he's like, "I'm gonna invite you to a show." I didn't end up going, but he's like, I'd shoot pictures, and then he called you to help out for something, and then I linked with you. So I feel like there's so much power in just like you never know like who's who, and like 100%. You know what I'm saying. So always be cool with everyone, you know.
So when you go to like a party, right? You think about like how many people you meet. You probably meet 100 people, right? How many of those 100 people do you think are like valuable assets to put you into a better place, business-wise or even friendship-wise or whatever? You probably leave that party and don't even maintain contact with anybody, you know? But every single person that I meet shooting is valuable in the sense that they are all like, I've never had a bad run-in with anybody in the car community. They've all been super genuine people that are like, hey, I have somebody you got to talk to. I have a guy that you can shoot. I got these wheels from this company. They're super dope. Let me give you their contact. And it's not just because they're valuable in that sense, but I mean, if you're just talking business, but aside from that, it's just them being genuine people every single time. It's weird. It's super weird. There's no filtering through 100 people you're going to meet randomly at an event or at some kind of gathering. It's just like, dude, like maybe I'm just lucky and have met like the coolest people in the car industry. I don't know.
Now, going back to innovative, so you said you kind of came out of high school, you started doing innovative, right? And then you went from maybe not having a ton of friends, you didn't have that friend, you went to his house after school and all that stuff, to suddenly you're surrounded by, what'd you say, 60 DJs?
It was not suddenly, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, so how did you navigate that when you started connecting with all these DJs and you realized, oh, I'm a business person and I am now building relationships? Was that a hard learning curve because you had never had to do anything to that extent with that many people?
Honestly, I get a lot of my communication skills from my dad.
Okay.
Because he's owned businesses and he has always taken me when he went to go do business.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to me talking to people, I'm actually really good with talking to people. If anything, I talk too much, you know? And so I think that when it came to stuff like that, I was waiting for the opportunity, right? To use those skills. It wasn't because I was like, maybe I just felt like at that time in like high school or like whatever, it just wasn't worth my time. I don't really remember, you know, but I just feel like it was more like I just need an opportunity to show people what I'm about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And honestly, when it comes to talking to people, I don't really like talking about myself.
Yeah.
It's more like I would much rather understand what you're about so that you can give me the opportunity to tell you what I'm about. You know what I mean? That's why this is weird for me too.
Yeah. I was going to say, well, unfortunately, now you got to tell us about yourself.
Yeah.
There's definitely a power in like listening to people.
Yeah.
And when you actually ask questions about people and like you genuinely want to know, it makes you like them more. But in a genuine way, it's not like you're only doing it to get them to like you, but you know what I'm saying? So that's something I learned.
I'm just a naturally curious person. Yeah. Honestly, that's it. And I think that I've learned so much from people around me, you know what I mean, that I feel like that's more valuable than what I gotta say.
For sure.
You know what I mean? It's just because it's really interesting. That's the thing that interests me the most, you know? Like even like the time that we did the shoot in LA, you know what I mean? Like I wish we had more time because I wanted to talk to the homie that was there. I want to talk to the other guy that was playing the piano. I forget his name, but you know, like super dope guys, you know? And like it just feel like we just had to like kind of get in and get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah. It sounds to me like you really obviously value relationships and doing business with integrity is what it sounds like, I think. And that's something so similar. We had our friend Mariah on yesterday, and she works in film, and we just had that exact same discussion. She was like, the greatest things that have ever come out of like me doing business all had a foundation of a great relationship and genuinely enjoying working with this person and learning more about them. And that, I mean, it's so funny how like there's these similarities between all these people we bring on, because I think like when you do adopt that mindset of like valuing the relationship, wanting to do business with integrity, number one, you start to attract that, but two, you realize that there's more of that out there. I think that like the entertainment industry or video, or especially because quote unquote content creation, which is just a general term, there's a million people doing it. So you may run into someone who puts a bad taste in your mouth, but the reality is like when you find people who genuinely enjoy what they do, it'll make it enjoyable for you too. As long as you enjoy what you do, you know? And so I think the biggest thing is just like authenticity, is having that when you're conducting business and like you're trying to build real relationships. Because I even said in the episode yesterday, like when I first got into the music industry like 3 years ago, I shook Ryan's hand. I was like, okay, cool. I'm your manager. Like, who can I go out and meet and network with? And I was doing it like just to do it. But I wasn't going out like really thinking like, how can I build like a cool relationship with someone? And that I think is something that a lot of people miss, myself included, when I first started.
No, definitely. I think that when you kind of have the fuel, you know what I mean? It kind of like hypes you up all around the board, where you don't really know how to funnel that or like what direction to really go in. That kind of like bouncing off in the way you're kind of like saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like just it's the you're so hyped. You know what I mean? It's just like, what's the next move? What can I do? Oh, I have a reason to do this now. And you go out and you're just like, well, what am I really doing? You know what I mean? Just kind of sitting there. Yeah, I feel that though.
So let's talk about the transition from being a plumber to now a full-time automotive videographer. And I want to clap our hands, everybody. Round of applause. Isaac put on his Instagram a week or two ago, you said, today was the last day at my full-time job. I am now a full-time videographer. And I was like, what? And so, and because one thing that's so crazy is like, and it's not even that crazy because I know you put in the work. Like, it's exciting is probably a better word, is that I spoke to you like a couple months ago when I called you on the phone, and like, I was like, oh, and you said, oh yeah, dude, like I'm strapping down on automotive videography. Like that's my niche. I'm shooting content every day, posting every day. And then all of a sudden I go on Instagram and I see the fruits of his labor. And like you had a couple videos with millions of views. And so let's talk about, you started off, when did you become a plumber?
Shoot, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? I think it was like 2.5. Actually, no, I think I just, this would have been my third year.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and I think it was right about the anniversary, to be honest. I started in March also of 2019, I believe.
So what made you strap down and say, this is my niche, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to grind on this every day? Was it, I think we spoke a little bit about earlier, you just had that fuel. Did you wake up one day and you were like, I'm going to do this? Or did you notice that you looked back and went, dude, the last 2 months, all I've been doing is automotive videography and I love it. I'm going to keep doing this.
To be honest, everything started out as a hobby. Like I said, I picked up the camera. I had got a Sony A7 III, and that's not a cheap camera, but it's like right in the middle, in between photo and video dominance within the Sony brands. And so I figured, this is like a good right in the middle place to kind of start to see if I liked photo or video more. You know what I mean? Then I found out that, hey, I just want to push video. You know what I mean? Like, there was just, I feel like I more have the eye for putting together a video than I do have, taking a photo and then editing that and then turning that to what it's supposed to be. So it started out as a hobby in the beginning. It was just like, I'm going to put whatever money I have from this and get a camera and then maybe get a lens and like this and that or whatever. Then, like I said, my homie Alan hit me up and was like, hey, can you shoot my car? And then, like I said, that was a snowball. That was just when all of a sudden this other person's asking me to shoot his car. Then this other person's asking me to shoot his car. And it was just like, one thing after another. And then I was like, hey, we might be onto something here, you know? But I did something like 55 plus shoots for free, And so that was when I first started because, like I said, it was just me trying to be, me just having fun.
Yes.
And it was just like, okay, I got to meet this person this week and whatever. And I had a lot of money saved up, not a lot, a decent amount saved up to where the gas didn't matter, the time didn't matter. I had my full-time job at the time. There was nothing holding me back from doing that, And so it was just like, sure, I'm just going to have fun. And then all of a sudden, 1 month, it was late last year, where we started making things like kind of like official, where it was kind of like, let's set up like a booking calendar because I got too many people hitting me up at this point.
Nice.
And then it was just like, I guess to answer your question about did you wake up one day like, oh, I'm going to do this? That time was not necessarily one day, but it was over the span of about a week. Okay. And that week, I had gotten so many views on videos, and I had so many people hitting me up, and I was like, dude, this business just hit me up. And I'm like, I've been looking at them for a while, and I'm not even following them. And so that's like a big thing, like pat on your back kind of, where it's like, that happened. Then this person with high stature follows you, and then this person DMs you, and then you're just like, damn, okay, all these people that I've been trying or would have loved to connect with, they're connecting with me. And then it was just now I have 10 people in my DMs asking for shoots, and I was like, I want to cater to everybody and make sure everybody's taken care of. So then I planned out the calendar, and then it was just like that week I was like, we're full force. You know what I mean? It was just like, all right, let's get this. You know, because like I said, it was just for fun.
Do you feel like a lot of that was due to consistency too? Because you were like 100%. Super consistent.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because the way that I planned out my post from the beginning was like, look, I'm doing this for a hobby, but if I'm going to do it as a hobby, then I'm going to do it at my 100% fullest. You know what I mean? And that's just how I do everything. You know, everything, you always put 100% effort into it. Even if it's just something that's for fun, it's just like, okay, if you like dirt biking, you're going to put 100% effort into your work in your daily life to make sure to have money to go dirt biking at the end of the month. Same concept, you know? And so I wanted to make sure that even though it's just a hobby, that I treat these people as clients, because they're also people that have lives and stuff like that. I have to make sure that I'm delivering content that I'm happy with. I have to make sure that I'm still, even though it's for free, I still have to make sure that I'm treating their time with respect. I'm on time. I'm early, if anything. I'm delivering projects within a week. And just because that's what's right. It's not because, oh, this is a business. It's just because, even like I said, for free, it's what's right. You know, like I wouldn't want to, even if it's just a homie, want to wait around a whole month for something that should be taking 2 days.
Bro, and I just feel like in this industry, like whether it's film or what you're doing or like music or whatever, like there's such a culture of like, it's like cool to be late and like it's cool to like.
It's weird, right?
It's weird. It's
I
like,
see that.
Like the lag is kind of like, it's like people think they're not cool if they show up on time or a little early.
They want to feel like they're like rock stars and
but
shit.
The funny part is like the higher up you go, like in the ladder of success, like you have to be like that, or else people are not going to respect you. Like so, people kind of get stuck in that area of like, you know, what, like I'm trying to be cool, but like I don't know, it's weird.
Well, the thing is that everybody's waiting for you, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You're walking in the club last. It's like, oh, the main event's here. You know what I mean? It's the same kind of like concept, I feel, where like it's. I mean, I guess I would say it's cool too, but I think honestly,
certain things. But like when it's business, like a business transaction, you better be on time. Like you know
yeah.
No.
But well, to bounce off that is, I think I just started taking those things seriously. You know what I mean? And a lot of people didn't. And I think that you said, I believe your question was whether or not I was sticking to like a schedule or something like that, or like. I'm sorry, what was your last question about that?
I totally forgot. I've been listening to you guys.
Okay, cool. Sorry. But anyways, about being consistent, right? Yeah. That's what you had asked?
Yeah.
So that's, I think, where that stemmed from, was me just trying to be a genuine, like, just, okay, I want to make sure that I'm doing this at a decent rate. You know what I mean? Whether it's for business or not.
Yeah.
Then it turned into the calendar. And then it turned into finding out that calendar was full for the next month. And then it was like, damn, I'm really booked up. And then it was like, you know what? I'm actually spending a lot of money on gas. Yeah. And then it's, you know what? I started charging, just $70 because I was driving a Tacoma. So it's like, that's my rig truck. That's what I use to film and everything like that. So even driving from Santa Ana to Long Beach, or even like Anaheim, or even LA to Irvine and all that other stuff, the expenses started adding up. Yeah. In the beginning, it didn't matter. And then it was like, okay, I'm going to start $70. And then it started just increasing to do the minimum, you know? And then I was like, dude, I'm so busy. I have to increase my price. And then I was like, shit, I'm charging now. What the hell? You know what I mean? Like,
see, and one thing I realized too is like, the more you do this, like whether you're doing what I do or him or you, is like, people want to work with people they respect.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to want to pay you unless they actually truly respect you.
Yep.
And to get that respect, you're going to have to put in consistent work, be genuine, be on time, like all the above. And like, I feel like you kill it at that, bro. So I feel like, you deserve to be where you're at. And like,
appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
Absolutely, bro. And I think that stems from, just like you said, like wanting to do good work, and also like caring about and wanting to help others. Yeah. Like I think some of the greatest opportunities that I've ever gotten have been from me like stopping and being like, okay, wait a minute. Let's not make this about me. Like, how can I help this other person? And we had we had the president of the label that I work at come on the show a couple episodes ago, and he said that too. He's like, dude, I have 1 million people hitting me up saying, hey, can you help me with this? Can you do can you listen to my song, whatever? And then he was like, Jacob, you asked me, hey, what can I do for you? And that's when I apparently had caught his attention. But I'm saying that because I had to develop that over time.
Yeah.
And I think I could have saved myself a lot of time by being like a lot less selfish in that way. And instead being like, okay, how can I like craft my skills, like sharpen my ability to like be punctual and be disciplined and like really, really serve others. Because I think that one of the biggest things ever, especially probably for you too, because like you work in like a visual product that you deliver, like results are everything.
Yeah.
Like if you
100%.
you can do everything that you can and talk a big game, but if you can't deliver a great result, then like that's what builds your reputation.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the thing, honestly, that sucks about, like, I didn't realize how saturated the industry was because I felt like I was at that time, at least in that area of the city and that friend group or whatever, the only one that did video. And so I was like everybody else took photos and stuff like that. But then I realized how oversaturated the whole industry is, you know, with videographers alone, not even just camera users. It's just like videographers alone that made setting my price hard. You know what I mean? And it did, because people think, I'll get asked all the time, hey, how much do you charge for videos? Because I'm thinking about doing this and I want to know how much to charge. And I'm kind of like, I can't answer that question for you because I don't know what kind of work goes into it. Regardless, your final product might be shit, it might be great. But if you put 60 hours of work in, you deserve to get paid for 60 hours of work. But if you put it in honestly too, you know what I mean? And so it's like, I can't really give you an estimate based off of just seeing your feed, because I can get my work done in 2 hours, what might take you to get the final product done in 6. You might charge more for that. As long as it comes out good, it comes out good. You follow through your own process. You know what I mean? But that's what made it hard, is that there was a lot of people saying like, oh, like I charge $600. I'm like, wow, I only charge $200. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know, not to compare, you know what I mean? But I feel like a lot more work went in on this end than that end. Or vice versa. People are like, damn, you charge a little bit and I charge a lot and your videos are way better than mine. You need to up your price. And I'm kind of like, I can't up my price because nobody will book me. You know what I mean? If I did, or whatever, you know? And I think that that's probably the hardest part. Like really weird to get a grip on, to see what that common ground, the middle was for everybody. But it just comes down to like the work ethic and stuff too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. So when it comes to pricing, what's kind of like one key tip that maybe you can give to like other videographers or freelancers who are doing work?
Honestly, I'm still trying to master it. To be honest, what I did is I gauged how much money was I using as expenses for gas first. And that's a huge thing, is start with the necessities. Too many people want to say, oh, an average videographer gets paid $600 a shoot, I'm going to charge $600 a shoot. That's not how it should go, because every shoot's different. Every shoot requires different aspects. They require more or less driving. They require more or less editing, more or less equipment. That's basically it, you know, and those are what you lay your prices out for. And there's no rule book really to show you how much to charge for gas or whatever, but usually for you to be comfortable to continue doing your job, you would use the tank of gas for you to get through the next week, right? Charge a tank of gas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if a tank of gas for you is $65, start with that. If you're trying to just get a grip on it, okay, well, $65 first. Then think about how many hours you're working on an edit. For example, if you're on site somewhere for 5 hours, minimum wage is 15. Do that math. You know, 5 times 15. Okay, cool. And then how many hours are you editing? Okay, whatever. And then maybe start there.
Yeah. You kind of have to like feel.
You got to feel the industry.
Got to feel like your demand, right? Like to see what
exactly. And you got to see also, are you comfortable with that too? And a lot of people, you have to have an honest feeling of, are you comfortable or are you just money hungry? You know, because there's a difference. There's a huge difference between knowing your worth and knowing what you're supposed to get paid and getting paid what everybody else is telling you you're supposed to get paid. Grandma's obviously going to tell you, hey, you deserve more. You deserve more. You need to get paid more, you know? But then the guy that's in the industry is like, bro, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And so it's just, you have to feel out every single thing you do. And with pricing, you don't want to go too high because you do want to have that steady growth. A lot of people will dismiss the necessity of content on your page to grow, to reach more contents. They'll dismiss that instead and value the money more. At that point, you're money hungry. I firmly believe that.
Because a lot of people just try to get the quick bag, right? Instead of kind of the long game.
Exactly.
But I will say, you do deserve to get paid. So it's like, it's a weird dance you got to do,
100%.
right? Of like feeling it out.
100%. Yeah, and you just got to find that middle ground. What are you comfortable with? What are your clients comfortable with? And then are you okay with your own content or not? You know, and that can go, honestly, with any industry, in my opinion. At least even with shows, too. Like when I was renting out speakers and stuff, I didn't really look for what was the average speaker cost. It was like, do I have to deliver this stuff? And what am I happy with? You know what I mean? Like, is it going to take too much time out of my day? Is it not? Is it on a holiday? I'm going to charge more because I really don't want to leave the house on a holiday. You know what I mean? Like, so it's Christmas. What the hell? I'm not going to drop off speakers, you know, or whatever.
So your highest performing reel, how many views does it have?
I don't know.
He said, let's check.
On Instagram?
Yeah. Or you're on TikTok too, right? You repurpose it like...
Yeah. So on Instagram, 16.8 million is the highest one. And then on TikTok, sorry, audio sucks right now.
You're good.
And then on TikTok, 683,000.
683,000 on TikTok,
On
16 million on Reels.
Yeah.
Was that just crazy to you? Like
It
when
was
you
insane,
saw those? Yeah.
honestly. It was insane. The first... that's a whole nother thing I can talk about, to be honest. I'm going to talk your guys' ears off if I go in depth with that. But the 653,000 on TikTok happened when I wasn't even familiar with how to use TikTok, which was really shocking to me because a lot of people told me, you need to get on TikTok, you need to get on TikTok, you need to get on TikTok. And I was kind of like, I've been on TikTok, but my videos don't do anything. Like, you know, I just feel like I'm not there yet or something. And then all of a sudden we decided to do something different with more like a storyline kind of thing. And then it blew up. And I was like, dude, I don't even want to do that kind of content. It was weird. I'm very appreciative of the people that engaged with that and like followed me off of that. But I quickly realized that's not the kind of content I want to pursue because it's like, I don't do skits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like stage stuff. I just like and I'm more the type of person where if you like my stuff, you like my stuff.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have 10,000 followers that are genuine, that love my stuff, than have a blue check and 6 million followers of people that don't really care about anything I do.
I think it's so important that you said that, bro, because I think a lot of people, especially on TikTok or whatever, they will chase that view count. And so if they see, oh, this is working, but they don't really genuinely like doing that kind of content, they're getting told by people like, just do that because it works. Just do that because it works. Just suck it up. But it's like, dude, like, I don't want to be known for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think people don't talk about that. They just talk about like tracing trends and just kind of like, which, I mean, if I don't know. It's a weird thing.
It just depends on what you're going for. No, and I understand.
Depends.
The way you took your pause is the same way I would take my pause when explaining this to people because I don't want to say something that's going to hurt somebody's feelings to an extent because there are people that do that, right? Somebody watching this podcast right now might actually be one of those people.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is that that's what works for them and that's the goal that they're going for, whether it's professionally or not.
Yeah, it's what do you want?
You know what I mean? Exactly.
Get clear on what you want.
Exactly. And so, but as a creative, if you want to stand out amongst other creatives, you can't follow the trends. You can't do stuff like that. You know what I mean?
That's the tricky part.
And that's exactly why it's hard because there's an algorithm to follow, right? So if you're going to follow this algorithm, there's 10,000 other people following the algorithm. So they're all going to look the same. You know what I mean? Because you have to follow what's trending to an extent. I think the hardest part is finding the balance between creative enough and trendy enough to still follow the trends, but then create your own spin on it.
Absolutely. To touch on that real quick. So I think what you did, and this is like when I'm talking to music artists, that I call this the experimentation phase. I think that what you need to do is exactly what you said. You have to take pieces of things that are trending and flip it with your own style. And most importantly, I had a call with an artist 2 days ago and I said this. I said, most importantly, it has to have something that fulfills you. If you're sitting there posting dances or whatever it is because you know that gets a ton of views, but you hate making it, dude, this is your day job, bro. This is part of what you're trying to make your career. So at least make sure it fulfills you. So I'm an absolute proponent of if someone says, hey, I went on TikTok and there were 10 videos, you know, over the course of the week and this style of video got the most views. I say, okay, cool. Is that what you want to make? No. Okay, well, what pieces of that did you enjoy? What now take personally, what pieces of content creation do you like? And try to fuse it all together. So it sounds to me like you kind of like maybe did that inadvertently. Like you went through, you made a bunch of stuff. You kind of did both ends. You made things that you loved, didn't care about the trends. Then you did try some trendy stuff, and then you kind of found out what worked, right?
Honestly, that's exactly how it happened. Because the thing is that even though that it was still one of those skits kind of like things where it followed like some of what a storyline, it was automotive. It was about me seeing a car drive by a gas station, being like, oh, like, look at that car, it's sick. Then he pulls into the gas station, and the guy out of that car hits me up and is like, hey, like, what are you doing? You shooting? And then we're apparently going to the same event together. You know what I mean? And so I'm filming him on the way to that event.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how the story played out, where it's like, yeah, was it still trendy? Yeah, because people like to see something like that happen.
Sure.
You know, but the thing that was different is that it mainly focused on the aspect of what I do for a living. So more of the rig was shown, more of the camera stuff was shown, more of the shots on the way there, the BTS and stuff, more of that stuff was shown. So it was still more on like my side as far as like it being more of what I'm comfortable with. But would I pursue it like that style consistently? No. I'm not that type of BTS person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's also, I mean, just to segue a little bit, that's why I would recommend to anybody that if you're going to try TikTok or whatever, or Reels or any type of social media, is to not be afraid to step out of that comfort zone. And that's a proving fact right there with that video. You know what I mean? That put me on. Literally, that put me on. And it was just the statement that's like, dude, don't care about what people think. Don't care about what other people fucking say. Because some people said that doing skits is whack, and even I said that myself, you know, and all this other stuff. Well, it worked, and I got to learn a little something from it.
Yeah,
exactly.
By trying something new.
Exactly.
I like almost every week or so, like every few videos, I'll alternate and try something new within the trends, or try something new to kind of maybe start my own trend and stuff like that. A lot of people, they'll just record the same video with a different subject, the same exact thing, and they're like, why am I not getting popular?
Yeah.
You know, and the reason why is that you're putting out the same exact thing, and yeah, you might have 3 to 5 versions,
but sometimes that works for people.
It does.
Depends. So it's weird, you know what I mean?
What I've noticed is that I feel like it does work for people that are already established, and it works for the very few that
that's true.
It works for the very few that are coming up. It's just like with the music industry. You know what that's like.
Yeah.
If you create amazing music, but you're still not getting looks, and it's like, why? Are you going to change the way you do music? No. But it's going to work for you, right? Because you're going to make it, right? Okay, so it's the same thing, where it's like, yeah, there's these other guys that are huge as hell, and they're making music, and they're doing whatever they want. Maybe some guy that does hip-hop all of a sudden makes an EDM track. I don't know. But still people like it, and still got 1 million views. Does that mean you should make EDM now? No. You know? So I think that the thing is trying to be different and still experiment a little, and be prepared for this is not going to work out. You know what I mean? Because if it doesn't work out, but maybe you noticed that this new thing that you started generated a lot of comments for a specific reason. So say they're like, what the hell is up with those pants? You know? And then you realize that in none of your other videos, you don't have any of your crazy pants in the video. Maybe you should start incorporating your crazy pants, because that generates comments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think one thing that I've realized is that people can really feel like if you're being genuine with your content.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
People
Definitely.
can tell if you're doing shit just because you feel like you have to, or like that's not genuine to you.
100%.
Like, people can really feel it's weird. Like it's digital, so that's what makes it weird. But like people can genuinely tell when you're trying to force shit or what.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why the thing is that I feel like you shouldn't have anything scripted, nothing rehearsed. It's just go for it. You know what I mean? Because it's raw. There's nothing behind it you have 3 seconds literally at most between every swipe that people are doing on social media. You know what I mean? And so it's literally like freaking Tinder works the same exact way. You know what I mean? Or like Reels, TikTok, all that other stuff. If you don't make an impact within that first few seconds, that person's going to swipe.
Yeah.
And that's it. And as soon as that video is no longer in their like in their mind, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't trigger something, whether it's positive or negative, they're going to keep going.
Yeah.
You know?
And even then, like that's why consistency is so important to be in people's faces all the time, because even if they did like the content, they're liking so much other more content that like they already forgot even the thing that you did that they loved.
Exactly.
So you have to always like, and that's why I feel like you did a great job, because you were consistent. And still
that's
are,
the most important thing. Yeah.
Did you set up like a firm, like I'm going to post on Reels and TikTok and whatever platform X amount of times per, were you that? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the thing is, I wasn't necessarily strict to the point where I like executed some crazy schedule like 3 times a day, like a lot of people would recommend. The thing is that I'm not expecting to blow up overnight. I'm expecting to be in this industry for a few years, and too many people get stuck on I haven't blown up yet. I'm not doing shit with my life right now. And you're 22 years old. You know what I mean? Like, or I'm not, I'm worried about how this is going to go. And just like, bro, you need to trust your own mindset. You need to trust that you're going to make it. And you need to trust that you are putting the right amount of work in, or a lot of work in. Because a lot of people say, I'm working so hard. And it's like, really, bro, are you?
Yeah.
You got to take a look at your schedule. You got to be honest with yourself. And you got to say, am I really putting in all of the effort in all these areas the right way? And if you're not, it's okay. But
we talk about that on the pod. We talked about this last night on the podcast too. You got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and have that self-awareness. Like, am I doing everything I can do to get to where I want to be? And if you're not, that's cool, like you said, but just fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but a lot of people, even me, we all struggle with to some degree, being able to have that self-awareness of like, am I truly doing everything I can do?
Exactly.
And I think that's just something you got to keep building and keep growing.
And I think also people confuse that with not only doing what you're supposed to be doing, but liking it 24/7. And it's like, bro, you don't have to like your job 24/7. You know what I mean? Like,
we should have had you on here a long time ago.
Bro, that's and I think what people hear, do what you love, never work a day in your life. To me, that's a bullshit thing. I get what they're saying, but at the end of the day, you're not going to love it every day because it's hard. It's very hard, especially to do something that we do where it's like, it's tough. It's more tough to come across money. So you're gonna struggle and like you're not gonna like it all the time. Yeah. But it's the people that they discipline themselves anyway.
You can easily relate that to friendships or relationships.
Yeah.
Do you love this person? They're in your family. Do you love this person, or do you care about this person? Yeah, you care about this person a lot. But do you argue? Yeah, probably sometimes. You know what I mean? There's gonna be those times. But does that mean that your heart's not in it? No. It doesn't. You know what I mean? Does that mean that you don't care about this person? No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean shit. Yeah. You know you're still going to be putting effort into it until the end of fucking time, right? Yeah. So I think that's the thing that a lot of people forget too is that.
And I think it's healthy to have that perspective, like comparing to how you felt with another job that you had. Like for me, I worked full time in LA for a little bit. And the feeling I had of showing up every day doing that is a completely different feeling than doing what I do now every day. Yep. And like I may feel stressed and like it's hard, but it's a way more fulfilling feeling than like going to a 40-hour 9-to-5 job of like doing shit I don't even like. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
Well, think about it. If you have the capacity to put 100% of work in every week, and 50% of that is going somewhere that you're not going to be doing for the next 20 years. Yeah. That's 50% of your life that you're putting towards something that you don't even care about, And so already 8 hours of your life every day is taken up by sleeping. You know what I mean? So it's just like you kind of like start breaking down your day in that kind of like fractions or like percentages, and it's just like, really, like, what am I doing? Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's hard to be in it once you have your 8 hours of sleep, and you can have your 8 hours of work and your 8 hours to relax and balance out family, girls, boys, whatever it is in that other little section. Split your day off into threes kind of, but still have your own you time and space all that stuff out. You feel like you're working 100% towards your goals now. You know what I mean? Towards your future. Yeah. And actually, there's another thing too, is that people I feel like that I've met, they don't understand how to break down their life into different slots. You know what I mean? And I think that's very important, is that you have to create a balance. You have to create a balance. You have to figure out what is going to get, like if you have 10 blocks, where are those 10 blocks going to go that week? You know what I mean? And give each one a weight by balance. You know what I mean?
And I think the key to that is organization and time management. Because a lot of people, and I'm just aware of this, like they don't use a calendar, they don't use like a task list, they don't use tools to like help organize. Yeah. Because I feel like when you're organized, you at least have an outlook of the whole day, and then you can determine you get a better gauge on like what you're doing.
Yeah, I heard somewhere
a lot of people just like kind of go with the wind and
I heard somewhere that people that stay up late at night, which I'm guilty of 100%, and this is why I think that it's worth saying, is that people that stay up late at night have a chaotic work schedule or chaotic day on planning. It's misplanned. They don't know what tomorrow's going to look like. The reason they stay up is because they feel like, oh man, I don't know what's going to go on tomorrow. I need to stay up watching TV and like have my me time for too much longer. And then you stay on your phone a little bit longer and stuff. Once I started taking that stuff into consideration, and it's weird the way it happened, because I started trying to fix my sleep schedule. And then I saw this post on like Twitter or something like that, or whatever. And I was like, shit, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because my work schedule was so crazy. And then all of a sudden I start kind of like planning out my days and knowing what am I going to do tomorrow. it might not be the whole week, I'm gonna be honest with you, but it might be at least, what am I doing tomorrow, what am I doing the day after, and planning that kind of stuff out. That made me feel a lot more comfortable to like, okay, I can let today go, you know, and then get back at it tomorrow. It was weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I wanna jump topics.
Yep.
You have a very, very supportive significant other, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
How has that tied into your success?
Immensely. It's 100% the reason why, I think. Because I've been in a bunch of relationships before. You know what I mean? Like, it's you take the positive and negatives from each one, and you kind of see what you would want to find in somebody else and what you wouldn't want to have in somebody else, you know? And so I think that finding her was a breath of fresh air to an extent. And I hope this video or podcast doesn't age quick, but no, I'm just kidding. That was a bad joke.
She's like, I'm listening to everything you're saying. Just know that.
She just walked out.
No, but I think that one of the biggest things is that as an entrepreneur, and as you guys probably know, is that when you date somebody, your life is chaotic, especially in the fundamental stage where you're starting to build something, right? Because you still need to learn how to balance out this new venture. You need to learn how to balance out your time. And the thing that a lot of people don't understand is how chaotic that really is. You know, everybody wants to date an entrepreneur until they find out an entrepreneur's schedule. You know what I mean? Straight up. Because it's like, or they want to date somebody that's already successful, right? The hard part is sticking around and being strong through the building block stage where you're setting all this stuff up. And 100% believe that, because I ran Innovative while I was dating other people. I've ran other companies, you know, like in the middle ground or whatever, even in high school and stuff like that, where you had somebody else kind of sitting there like, oh, I support you. Like, oh yeah, you support me. But then you're nagging about how little time we spend together, you know, and it's not even like that bad. Like, we still hang out 3 days a week, you know what I mean? But you still need more time. And I'm not dismissing the fact that everybody needs their time. You need to put your effort in.
Totally.
The issue is that people don't know when to call it quits. You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, if it's not the time and you can't balance out your girlfriend, you owe it to her to cut her loose, because she shouldn't be sitting here like a puppy waiting for you to have time for her. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to figure that out. But if you guys also are on the same page and you're willing to work towards something and she's willing to truly support you along the way, that stress that, oh, you're not spending time with me, is no longer there. And you're at that point working together. You're building something together. That's why I say 50% of the company is hers, because it's like literally when we work up.
Wow.
Yeah, I swear. I'm not even joking, because honestly, if it wasn't for her supporting me in the way that she did, that alone, it's more valuable, you know what I mean, than even I feel like at times it's the work that I put in, because she's always asking me, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Oh, what are you doing for this shoot? What are you doing? You know what I mean? Are your batteries done? Are your batteries done charging? And I'm like, shit, no, they're not. You know what I mean? Let me go do that.
Dude, that's awesome.
You know?
And I think that's like very rare, because I think, you know, as you know, a woman, especially for an entrepreneur, a woman can like make or break like a dude's like career, like facts, you know what I'm saying? So it's people got to be very careful with like vetting like who they're with, you know, especially if they're very ambitious, because it can literally drag you to the floor. Like, you can literally have built something like over years and it can come crashing down like fast, like because of a girl, you know what I'm saying? And I've seen that happen so many times with successful people, you know, who bounce back and stuff after that, but like they had to learn that, you know what I'm saying? So it's that's dope, man.
I think the crazy thing is that this company started while we were already together. You know what I mean? So she, from the very beginning, it's not like I was looking for approval. You know what I mean? But I was more like, hey, I think I'm going to do this. And she was like, fucking do it then. You know what I mean? Hey, I think I want to do this. Do it.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to do this. Like, but, you know, like, it's a little hard. I don't know if I should. And she's like, why not? Let's get this done. You know what I mean? And it was just very like honestly, like to a point where I felt like even if I was doubting myself, I had no reason to, because she was right there in my corner, just like, dude, no, like, you are not going to do it. Like, you need to do it. You know what I mean? Like, and help me balance and weigh out my options unbiasedly too, because a lot of people as a girlfriend should be biased. Like, oh, well, how much is it getting paid? Yeah, you should definitely do that. But she'll sit back and be like, hey, no, like, let's see if this is even good for you. You know what I mean? And we'll have conversations to see, you know, like what route to take next, you know, and not because I need her to tell me what to do, but it's just because I can completely believe that she's going to be unbiased in any situation. And that's hard to come by too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Honestly, because it's just, there's so much reason to be biased as a girlfriend, because honestly, if you're in a relationship and you're like, dating to be married eventually, your future is her future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So eventually you might run into somebody that you're dating and she's a little bit like, no, we need to have money because we need to do this. You know, you need to get a contract because you need to be able to support your kids in the future or whatever. You know what I mean? Just a lot of that stuff that I feel like gets thrown in the mix doesn't get thrown in the mix here. So I guess, you know.
We're going to have everybody listening, including us, to give Pauline a big round of applause right here. Woo! Amazing.
Yep.
I loved hearing that, man. That was so cool.
Appreciate it.
How old are you?
Guess.
25?
25.
Oh, 25?
26.
He's asking his girl.
Oh, no, it's April.
Oh, okay.
April 26th. No, because I've been telling...
He's that busy. He don't even know.
Bro, I don't know. Honestly, it's funny because she just asked me today, what are you doing for your birthday? And I was like, I don't know. Probably nothing.
So you're turning 26?
Turning 26.
On April 26th.
No, April 16th.
Oh, 16th. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, oh, that was awkward. Oh, is my face red? Shit.
Would 15-year-old Isaac think that at 25 he would have been owning his own video company?
No, definitely not. I think that I didn't get my mindset even for business until I was in high school. And even then, it wasn't even apparent. I didn't know that I wanted to do business until it was about senior year. And so I always did like these little companies, little side hustle kind of things, you know, like at one point vaping was really big, but I wasn't allowed to vape and I wasn't allowed to like even touch nicotine. Excuse me. So I started a vape juice company that had 0 nicotine.
Oh, nice.
And I actually sold a few of those. And so it's just like doing that, did some other stuff. And then it was just like, that was my first step into it. Was not long lived. It was just like something like kind of like get your feet in the door to see what kind of went into making it. And I like more the science behind it, mixing like flavors and trying to see if I could do something. Then I did enjoy selling anything.
That was when
just
the
more
clouds
like,
were big, a big thing, huh?
Yep.
It wasn't like
I was like a
clouds.
master coil builder too.
I was going to say
It was
like
so
the
bad.
cotton and the coils
Yeah,
and stuff.
I was one of those big coil guys, you know what I mean?
The O's and shit.
Exactly, bro.
There was
the
a whole
tricks.
culture around that.
Yep.
Dude. Yeah.
So I did that. And I think that was just more for fun. And so this is all like just in the back of your mind. You don't think like, oh, I'm going to own a company later on. It's just like, dude, I'm in freaking high school. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then it kind of, you know, like I said, the next big thing was innovative. And in high school, it was more like trying to be a freelance DJ, I guess, which is not really something I would consider business. It's like, I mean, it is. I don't want to discredit anybody else, but it's just like in my eyes, I feel like it's not like I own a crazy business. I just DJ. I'm just having fun. You know what I mean? I'm just, you know, spinning some tracks, whatever. But yeah, so it was never like, hey, I'm going to own any company of any sort. So even innovative, like I would have never at 15 thought that I was going to own an event production company.
Yeah.
You know, I think that it's just, I think that's the beauty in it though. And I think that that's why I chose to start photography or videography as a hobby, is because that's how everything starts out. Everything starts out as me just having fun. And if I have a lot of fucking fun, then I know this is something I want to do for a while. Then I know, okay, I could turn this into some money later on down the road or whatever, you know? And I think that that's the thing, is that a lot of people make a decision like, oh, I want to go into this profession. You don't even know if you like it yet. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know if it's going to be something that you want to do for the rest of your life. So do it as a hobby. If you can. I'm not saying become a doctor as a hobby, but I'm saying like, you know, do you know, do whatever it is you want to do that's not the right way or whatever people want to call it. Do that as a hobby. Treat it as if it's your job, because you should anyways if it's something you love doing. And then if it turns into something that's more on the business side, then it does, you know?
Just
but
just try shit. You know what I mean? Saying, like,
just
our
try
20s
it.
is the time to like try and discover
Exactly.
like, what is it? You know?
Exactly. And I feel like that's something that I never lost, was just like, dude, I'm young. I don't really care right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that, you know, it was always what that hobby allowed me to do by the people I was able to meet, by the things I was able to do, the places I was able to go, that kind of told me to take this hobby more serious. And then, you know, like I said, it just turns into something you're not really seeing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I would have never thought, even now, a year ago, that I'd be doing the things I'm doing now or have the following that I do now. And it's not even that crazy. It's just, what happened is crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
never thought you'd be coming on Inside the RV podcast, right?
Bro, if anything, it would have been for innovative, and that's just long gone. You know what I mean?
I know, right?
Yeah. Coming soon. I'm just kidding. We're going to try and see what we could do with that. But
Sure.
definitely.
Do you have a name for your company, or do you just kind of do it under your own name?
No, so kind of, but not really. My nickname has always been Laughter because Isaac means laughter, or Isaac actually means he who laughs in Hebrew, I believe. And so my parents are pretty religious, so obviously I have, Isaac as my name. Yeah. He who laughs. And one day, my dad actually, I've been mentioning him a lot on this podcast, he called me Laughter for the first time. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I remember where I was. I was in the hallway, like right outside of my parents' room, and I think that's just like when it kind of stuck.
Wow.
And it was not like at that point not like an official nickname because I wasn't doing anything at that time. But then he'd be like, "Hey, Laughter, what's up?" or "What's up, Laughter?" or something like that. And then it kind of like stuck around, and it was kind of like the name only he called me.
Yeah.
Because nobody calls me Laughter. People call me Izzy. People call me Izzy. Like my family calls me Izzy. My friends call me Izzy. And then like everybody else is Isaac.
Yeah.
So it's not a name that gets used by people. It's a name that I just like to keep in my display, I guess. You know what I mean? Because it means a lot to me. It doesn't have to mean shit to anybody else, but it means a lot to me, you know? And so
so no name for the company, right? Just
no. Well, what I was going to say is that was my DJ name. Okay. And so it was just like DJ Laughter, whatever. And then it just became Laughter, and then it became Laughter MOV when I started filming. Yeah. So that's my username, but people call me Izzy. There's no company name. It's just like that's just how you break it down because people ask me that all the time. What does that mean? And I'm like...
So what's next for your company for, let's say, the next like 3 months? Like, are you booked up? Any huge projects coming on? Things you're stoked on, or what's up? Yeah.
So actually, tomorrow we have a shoot with this guy that I met. His name's Mark. I met him through Illust. You guys familiar with Illust?
They're a clothing company?
Yeah, clothing company. Yeah. So I met him through Illust with my boy Landon. Landon actually brought me on. And so Mark is establishing a kind of like media team. And so he has a shoot tomorrow that I'm working on. I don't know if I'm able to say what company it is. But then on Thursday we have a track event that we're going to north of LA in one of those like desert cities. And so we have that coming up. March is just about fully booked. I think I have to hit up a few more people for like the last weekend, which is just like that last Sunday. And then start booking on April. On my waiting list, I have like 20 people on the waiting list. I got to hit up for April or 25, something like that. As far as big projects, my plan is to just establish contracts because as a videographer, that's the easiest way to know that you're good. It's not even, I swear to God, it's not even to know that you're making profit, bro. It's just to know that you're good. You know what I mean? And so establishing these contracts is really important because essentially it's like you have a part-time job, right? And so you go to this part-time job, okay, they're probably going to have me work here 20 hours this week or 40 hours this week or whatever. Well, our job is to establish those contracts to kind of equal that 20 to 40 hours a week. You know what I mean? To know what you're getting. Yeah. And then I'm doing stuff on the side where it's like, okay, the track day is not included in those contracts. So I guess my goal is to establish like 1 or 2 more contracts just to put me a little bit higher than what my base is. You know what I mean? Aside from that, it's just all the other fun stuff. There's nothing really huge like going on within the next few months, but I know this summer is just gonna be lit. I got a bunch of shit planned for summer.
Hell yeah, bro. Nice. Well, dude, all I gotta say is congratulations.
Thank you, man. I mean,
appreciate it. You deserve everything you have, bro.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, bro. Are you cool with people like hitting you up on Instagram or anything like that?
100%. Actually, that's one thing that I wanted to talk about when you were talking about that earlier about helping other people out, in the industry, is that I noticed that me coming up, like I said, it was a hobby. So when I would ask questions, I would just ask questions because I'm some kid that just wants to learn. Legit. It's not because I'm trying to make money or take your business away. It's just because I'm curious and nobody would respond. So I had to resort to just YouTube only. And I feel like a lot of people gatekeeping. You know what I mean?
Bro, like a big reason why we do this podcast too is like for later, you know what I'm saying? Like it's documenting the whole process and the mindset on the come up, the failures, the what we thought was right but wasn't, the whole shit. Because like me, as exactly what you said, I'm always searching artists on YouTube, like trying to find the gems. Like how did they do this? Like how did they do that? What were they thinking? Like when they did this? You can't find shit. Only in interviews here and there. But that's what we thought this was special to have that documentation of like the mindset throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think that that's super important too, and I'm really glad that that's what you guys are going for. Also,
for that next kid,
Yeah, exactly. And so I feel like through that period of like even me coming up, I didn't have any help. You know what I mean? Like, and so it was just like I had to figure this stuff out on my own. And even now, I really don't care too much. All the stuff that I do know how to do should be common knowledge, anyways. It's like it's really, I'm not doing anything any specific way aside from my own camera movements and the way I edit a video, that sets me apart from anybody else that should know all the basics anyways. I'm just applying the basics. I swear to God, I'm not doing anything like I don't have some secret magic bullet that makes the videos look cool.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel like a lot of people do. They think like maybe there's like, I guess in music it'd be like a vocal chain, right? So they need that one vocal chain that's going to put it into the right sound to make it be a million, you know, plays ready. You know what I mean? It's not the case. There's no magic bullet. It's just basic stuff.
My opinion, bro, is like, you know, like how people say like don't give away your sauce.
Yeah.
My opinion, and I could be wrong for this, but I don't mind giving away like tips and sauce because I know that 99% of people aren't going to use it and not going to work hard at it.
Yeah.
Most people aren't going to put in the work.
The thing is, see, it's a tool. It's a tool that you have to know how to use. And you have to know how to use that tool properly. So like I can give you, for example, like with color grading, people ask me like, oh, how do you get the colors in your video? And I show them exactly how to do it. And now it's in your hands to put the video together the right way to get that many views. You know what I mean? So, and
most people won't even put in the work.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And so to answer your question, yes, I do lives all the time where people are welcome to come in and ask questions about videography, about business, about my daily life, about my friends, about pretty much anything. I'm always an open book. And so go live on there, and then also DMs always open on Instagram. More specifically, TikTok, I have my DMs turned off because there's a bunch of weird people on there.
What's your Instagram and your TikTok handle?
It's laughter, LAFTR MOV, or period MOV.
Okay, LAFTR
period MOV.
.mov.
Yep.
Got it. Cool. My man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for coming on, bro. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
great episode. 58 episodes in. Isaac Flores and Pauline. Thank you guys for coming. We appreciate it, man. Hit us up. Hit all three of us up on Instagram, and thank you all for tuning in. Peace out.